course, we're here for Slap News, Power Slap number 4 with my man, Duane the Iron Giant Crespo, going up against Nate Burnard. Coming up, Power Slap number 4. This is going to be electric. We've got the heavyweight division happening. Duane, what's going on, my man?
Dude, it's always good to talk to you, man. I'm chilling right now. It's almost time.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming back quick succession. You got the victory, Power Slap number 3. Moved you up in what you thought was the number 1 contender spot and potentially your next matchup being up against the bell. Obviously, things don't always go as planned, but you got Nate Burnard coming up here, Power Slap number 4. How excited are you for this match?
Dude, it's always fun to come out there to Vegas and fight, and so I'm excited just to do it in general. This is true contender fight now, so I win this, I get a title fight. So let's do it, man.
Let's go, man. New York representing. You know, they could have actually probably, had this take place in Buffalo or something, but they'll get both you guys back there in Vegas.
That would have been sick, man, to have us out here, either Rochester or Buffalo. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, maybe a couple of years, Madison Square Gardens, who knows?
The dream's there, man.
Absolutely, my man. I mean, we've seen one slap from Nate. We haven't seen him take a hit. What have you seen from him so far and being able to interact with him live in Vegas?
Interact with him. He's such a nice guy, man. He's from Buffalo. He's super homey. But he's a big, strong dude. Like, you see him, he like towering over everybody. I call him Hercules, But besides that, like, we've only seen the one fight. We've seen a lot of new fighters do well for the first fight and not do well for the remainders. Mm-hmm. So we'll just find out when this comes,
Totally. I mean, you're more one of the technical guys in the game, very much analyzing your opponents, trying to be able to find the advantages, pinpoint their weaknesses. With not having a whole lot of tape on Nate, how are you planning and strategizing for this matchup?
Actually, even though he only hit once, I did see a lot from him. It's definitely new. He hasn't figured it out yet, his slap. So I know that he can't probably win a judge's decision with skill. So he has to knock me out to win this fight. And I think if that is the only strategy, like, it's going to be a pretty, one-sided.
Gotcha, my man. Like you said, you've had a bit of a roller coaster. You've had some victories. You had the loss to the bell, which was, heartbreaking and devastating for you. As we kind of talked about, it seems like he's going to be primed here. Power Slap number 5 coming up could be a big card. I never want to put you in a position to think past, an athlete, but a fight that's coming up right now. But how hard is it for you to stay focused on this moment, on Nate, and taking care of business coming up for Power Slap number 4?
I would say that it's harder than most because everyone's already talking like, hey, you're fighting the bell soon for the belt. Hey, like, as you just said, kind of like skipping the guy in front. And anytime that happens, man, that's like bad juju. So, I have this fight coming up. I have Nate. He's a tough guy. I'll go through him. And if I do, get my hand raised, then we have that cool moment back with the bell. So not taking anything from Nate, but I still want to do what I can,
Mm-hmm. I mean, this time we're going to have, an even more truncated, shorter fight week. I know you're getting in there kind of mid-Monday, going to be going ready on Wednesday. You worried at all? Time change, depression, in terms of the, sleep schedule, cutting weight so that you kind of come in at the top side of that weight cap. Anything concern you?
I would say just the weight cut probably is the most concerning. Usually, like, a longer week makes it so much easier, but we're getting there, and then weigh-ins is the very next day.
Yeah.
So, airplane bloat is a real thing that I found out. So, I'm just hoping that doesn't mess me up too much where I have to do a big weight cut. So.
Yeah. In terms of bodybuilding, one of the things that we actually used to do was we did a water load and a water cut. And so what we'd actually do is you'd fly on your water loading days, which would then actually prevent some of that because you'd be pissing like a racehorse every 15 minutes. Makes the flight very uncomfortable because you'd want to make sure you book the closest seat to the bathroom. But, doing whatever you can. Compression undergarments, if you can get compression actual leggings. as well as upper body. Long sleeve shirt and stuff like that will also help you with some water retention. But, make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you slam a bunch of water before you get on. Try and drink a liter or two when you're in the air, and drink a liter or two when you land. And hopefully you won't have some of that water, bloat come along with you to make it a little bit easier. Or, you know what, my man? We got a couple days ahead of time. Start cutting weight right now so you're not crunching down so hard when you actually get to Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually lighter than I usually am right now. So, like, I'm 270 right now. Usually, 2 weeks out, I'm like 280. We're already in a pretty good spot.
Good, my man. I mean, coming back, less than 4 weeks, your head feeling good. I mean, I know you went for a war back and forth there with Dorian, but you're feeling mentally good. Your head's in a good place. Any little cuts and wounds? I know you had some blood coming out of your nose. All that's healed nicely.
Yeah, I had no injuries from that fight, so I was good to go. Mm-hmm. The only thing that hurt was my hand, and that's pretty good right now, so we good to go.
Cool, my man. I mean, Dorian in the press conference was bringing the war of words. I think with Nate this time around, it's going to be a little bit different. I think, young guy, a little more respect. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be a little harder to get up for this match, or you just got eye on the prize, the bell, and no matter what, you're coming to take care of business?
I think it never bothers me who I'm facing, if they're mean or they're nice, if it's a friend or not. Like, I think that every time I step on the stage, it's just, I feel like home. So I feel good there. Nate's just a good dude, so it's up to him what he says in the press conference and everything like that. But if he changes, for camera, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, he's a good dude. I'm happy that he has this cool opportunity from him. Like, new people usually don't get this kind of opportunity, so that's kind of cool. But then again, he knows who he's facing, and it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in previous interviews before, competing International Fight Week on the Friday, big stage. We've talked about competing on Wednesdays. We've talked about competing on, tape cards and having one day, exclusively to yourself. We're seeing Power Slap come back to a Wednesday again.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that? And do you think the strategy that they're employing is good for the fighters in regards to the visibility that they're getting, because they're not competing against any other major sport, whether it be UFC, baseball, basketball, football, any of that stuff on Wednesdays?
Well, what's crazy is I thought Friday was a good day, but then I saw an interview with Dana White and made a good point, like a really good point. Mm-hmm. It was like, you compete with everything on Friday. Like, and he even said, like, you even compete with dinner. And I didn't even think about it. I was like, dang, Friday dinner. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So, like, Wednesday is like the best numbers we put out so far. So it's really cool to fight on the live card for Wednesday to see if we get big numbers again. And then me being one of the later fights, that's a cool thing too.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you about two guys that you know pretty well, Dorian Perez and James Stonier, going off against each other. What's your prediction in that matchup? I know you've got, Dorian in the rearview mirror now, just fighting against him at Power Slap 3, and I'm sure you've seen Sass Billy around Vegas as well, and looking like a wild man. Any predictions in that one?
I feel like that's going to be an awesome fight to watch. Now, so I think since Dorian faced me, he's going to be a lot harder to beat now. I think that I exposed a way to beat him, and I think that he's going to cap that right away. I think he's going to check the head movement. And if he could do that, I think that he walks through Sass Billy. Because Sass Billy will have a clean shot. He has a good shot, too, so he swings well. But I can't see him knocking down Dorian, so it has to be a judge's decision win. And as long as Dorian doesn't, put him in bad positions like he did against me, I think he wins this fight. So
yeah. How worried are you about, fouls still? Because we've seen once again Power Slap number 3, an increase in fouls again, both on the offensive and the defensive side. I think Dorian and Sass Billy, that match could come down to one foul. And with yourself, being technical, and it's hard to say. We see Nate with one beautiful slap. The first time I actually seen that slap, as soon as you heard it, you knew that. It was something unique there. But do you think fouls are going to kind of come into play in your matchup as well?
So as the technical guy, if I'm thinking about judge's decision, I'm trying to put myself in a position to make you make mistakes.
Totally.
So, like, I'm trying to do so well to get you to do bad, to do fouls, to do stuff you're not supposed to, get your head to in the game and start stepping, stuff that you're not usually used to doing. Like, you notice people flinch way more against me than they do in previous fights. So I'm always trying to get you to be off your game. So I'm not surprised when people foul against me.
Yeah.
So that's like my kind of like attitude towards it. I'm gonna do so well, so you mess up. So we'll see. We'll see what Nate does. He has to stay composed, and I'm gonna try to make him not do that.
Absolutely. Coming into it, man. Talk about the technical side of it. The evolution of the sport from where it started, from the road to the title, to where it is now. How much of a drastic difference do you think strategy, skill, and gamemanship is actually playing into these matches now?
I think you're starting to see it more, especially when I talk to some of the fighters, they don't understand it, and they have a conversation with me, and they start realizing, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I thought of that. I wish I did this, did that, did this, and so we're going to start seeing them use it and using ideas, and the people that I talk to the most, they're getting more ideas as well, So I think as more and more events go on, we're going to see a lot of high-level fights of, man, I didn't even know that you could do this. I thought there's only one way to do it,
Totally. I mean, we're seeing both, obviously, offensive and the defensive side. We're seeing some different techniques, kind of take place. We've seen, obviously, Alan Klingbeil go with a very short swing. We could talk about that and the place for that to be used, because I actually do think there is a place in the sport for that. I don't think the first round is the time for that. I think you need to rock your guy first and then come back with that, later in the match where you're trying to catch him off guard to try to finish him with potential accumulation of damage.
Absolutely.
But, kind of playing that a little bit. I mean, we've seen a pretty consistent slap from you from event to event. Is it just working for you, man, or are you starting to look and see, some of the guys like Jules Scott originally, I know he played a big influence in a lot of the strikes that these guys were putting out, and now we're seeing some of these new practitioners. Even Bear Bennett had a unique wind-up going into power slap number 3. You see anything that you like? Are you working on a second or third slap? Anything that you can let us know?
I have a lot. So I have a lot in my arsenal. I've always had a lot. I'm not using it until it's like earned, until I need to. So like these past fights, I haven't needed to adjust because I was winning, or that I saw an easy victory in certain aspects, So, but there's probably gonna be a fight in the future where I have to start throwing my whole bag, It might be this one against Nate. If we find out that Nate has a natural chin, you might see me have to do a bunch of different things. We saw a little bit from me and Dorian because I just switched the tempo a little bit to help me out. But I imagine if I get my rematch with the Bell, a person who doesn't get rocked very easily, you'll probably see me try to empty my freaking bag of tricks on him,
Absolutely. I mean, when it's a title, man, you definitely have to do whatever you can to get that edge, because we know at the top that it's you're splitting hairs whether you come out victorious or not. So, excited to get back there in Vegas. See you once again. Power slap number 4. You keep on showing up, showing out, collecting paychecks. Drop your social handles, my man, so everybody can follow you going into.
You guys can follow me on all social media at IronGiant_slap. Man, I'm back again, dude. This is what I do now. This is amazing.
Yeah. One more. I know you had an argument or a debate about who has the best beard in power slap. Who is it, my man?
Dude, I would have said it's me, but I can't lie. It's Crazy Hawaiian, man. That dude's beard is incredible. But Andrew Fields, man, you really think you have a better beard than a Crazy Hawaiian? Like, nah, absolutely not.
Awesome, buddy. Much love, man. We'll see you there in Vegas. Take care. Travel safe.